this week. Get all the hot stories of the week and let us discuss, do you normally get what you think? Interact with us on our social platforms: Facebook, Capital Television Tanzania; Instagram, Capitaltvtz. Don't miss this very Sunday at 9:15 p.m. only on Capital Television. In Capital News tonight, no classrooms for over 100,000 students. Opposition candidate Martin Fayulu to continue with campaigns. And in sports, Serengeti boys receive seminar on game fixing. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. Over 133,000, which is 18.4% of students who passed the national exams to enter Form 1 in government schools for 2019, have not been placed due to shortage of classrooms. When speaking to press, the Minister of State in the President's Office for Regional Administration and Local Government, Suleiman Jaffo, say that a total of 599,000 students, which is 81.7% of students out of 733,000 students who passed, have been selected.
Kushirikiana na wadau wote wa elimu kukamilisha majengo na kuandaa mazingira ya kuwapokea wanafunzi wote waliochaguliwa.
I'm giving a calling to the Council to cooperate with different educational stakeholders to complete buildings and prepare environment for receiving all students who have been accepted to join for Form 1 studies 2019. Without any challenges, because the government is providing free education with no any payment. I'm also insisting parents and guardians to make sure students are sent and enrolled to school. Dear citizens, I'm directing regional commissioners and district commissioner to overlook welcoming of these students.
Nawaagiza wakuu wa mikoa na wilaya kusimamia mapokezi ya wanafunzi wa kidato cha kwanza.
Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court has listened to the preliminary arguments on the case facing the MP for Kigoma Urban Zito Kabwe. The prosecution said that it has 15 witnesses and their testimonies can either be written form or electronic form. The state prosecutor Wankio Simon explained this before the Resident Chief Magistrate Huruma Shaidi. Prosecutor Wankio Simon alleged that on October 28, 2018, the accused Zito Kabwe, during a press conference which was held at the headquarters of the ACT Wazalendo Party, made insightful utterances which had the potential to cause fear and hatred. The prosecutor said that Zito claimed 4 people who were injured in the incident between the public and police while at the hospital for treatment at Nguruka Hospital were followed by police and killed, adding that the words not incited hatred but caused conflict towards defense organs, causing debate on various social media groups and social organs. Now, due to this, the prosecutor said that the MP was arrested on October 30th at his home in Masaki. The accused MP Kabwe acknowledged that he was arrested at his home in Masaki, but refused the allegation that he is the chairman of ACT Wazalendo and that the documents stating this were not found in his home during his arrest. The case has been adjourned until January 14th, 2019, where it will come up for mention, and the case will resume on January 29th. Now, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, has today met and held talks with all regional commissioners, administrative secretaries on Tanzania mainland at State House in Dar es Salaam. The meeting was attended by Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, Minister of State in the President's Office, Management, Public Service and Good Governance, George Mkuchika, and Minister of State, President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government, Suleiman Jafo, and more. During the meeting, President Magufuli and the regional leaders discussed various matters to do with the government operations in the regions, especially in management of development activities and how services are provided to citizens. Now, moving on, the groups of livestock keepers, farmers and fishermen of Mufu, Miwangani and Idete villages of Kilombero district, Morogoro region, have complained that they do not have areas in which to carry out their activities. This comes after all three groups claimed that the areas which they had been initially using were seized by the Kilombero Nature Forest Reserve in the grounds that they were areas which were part of the reserve. The groups, which come from various communities, made their complaints to the Deputy Minister for Livestock and Fishing, Abdallah Ulega, when he visited the villages in order to listen to the frustration and problems, to the frustrations rather, and problems which are bothering the residents.
To you is that we get our own land for farming and they get for grazing. Otherwise, mixing like this brings great conflict. Now this season, livestock keepers take the whole valley as their own. They invade on people's farms and feed on their crops. Even if you try to warn them, they make communications within each other and attack on the ones staying here. Now if we don't be conscious, they will rise a great war. We got complaints that they wanted to straighten up to Namawala side. The difference is that Namawala village and its border side to the part of the reserve, there is a big center which has been developed and there is a school. Unlike their side, houses are a bit farther. And this exercise did not involve land which had society activities going on. All this is brought because water cans are placed in farms or water streams pass in the middle of farms. Now the cows just pass straight on people's farms. All this you should look at. And if you involve the required minister, there is no way you won't get a solution to this. For our livestock keepers, all our farmers, and you should hurry with this.
The Ministry of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, Dr. Harrison Mwakembe, has said that the laws and procedures that have been formed through the relevant authority for media companies aim at censoring the content produced and not hinder the freedom of the organs. Dr. Mwakembe made the remarks during a media stakeholders meeting coordinated by Tanzania Communications Regulatory Authority (TCRA) on the use of the internet in media.
I remember that time I used to lead the Ministry of Construction, Transport and Communications. TCRA, we should really be analyzed from every corner with different institutions, including different embassies. Even themselves have such laws, and there is no any law in the world with no boundaries. This we are insisting. It is good to register without having any fear. Those who are recognized know its importance, they are free and give their services on a digital platform. We should care for our nation, our environment, and that the media sector should bring development and bring positive impacts, because something might be good but used to bring negative impacts.
Residents of Kaloleni Ward in Tunduma Town Municipality, Songo Region, have requested the government to take legal action against Mr. Justin Mushi, nicknamed a Yellow Man. It is alleged that Mr. Mushi erected a wall on the road which caused the rainwater to lack any direction. What is worse, the wall has brought about huge damage to the infrastructure of the road, which is now feared to endanger the lives of people due to the floods.
This road going to Yeromangi, you should go see it for yourself. They are keeping foundation right on the road where water is passing. For now, there is no any safety for this bridge because of how the road is. Anytime the bridge will fall down. We have decided to use this way because all other ways have been used, but nothing. He knows what he is doing is wrong. So as the government, we can't stay quiet. We must take action so that this bridge survives and people continue to.
The National Association to Defend the Rights of Teachers at Chakamwata has requested the government to cancel the use of new pensions law for retired public servants. Instead, Chakamwata has called upon the government to organize a national debate on the subject so as to get an agreement with stakeholders, which is not only to protect the interests of all public servants, but those of the country as well.
We are complaining because this system is making a citizen more poor than he was. We have taken an example of a worker with 1.6 million as a salary which a lot of retired people don't reach up to. Now with the old system, a worker with such a salary is to get 99.8 million. But with this new system, which we are complaining about, he will get only 37.4 million. This time, as we wait to get a solution which will be better for all of us, we are asking the government to use systems which were used before of PSPF and ALPF. If I'm not mistaken, you can borrow a quarter of that amount. Some of the workers have borrowed already. Now with this new system, you find one has taken more than even the annual amount he is supposed to get.
The body of Florian Frederick, a student of Kashai Primary School in Bukoba Municipal who had completed his primary education this year, has been found hung on top of iron rods at the main entryway of the home of car spare parts businessman Kanzari Leonard at Majengo Mapia Street in Kashai Ward. Some residents of the street say that the deceased, who had passed his primary education, was playing with his friends and then disappeared before he was discovered deceased.
You see those slippers? Now half of his body was hanging from there. His legs were on the inside and the head was on the outside. And he vomited right there. And he was not bleeding or having any bruises.
Now
they were saying there is a child found dead in the neighbor's house. He was found hanging right on that wall. But still, we don't know how did it all happen. Around 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., the owner of that house was inside doing his usual activities. He then left at 5 p.m. After an hour is when the body of the deceased was found hanging on the gate, with his clothes stuck on the iron bars. The body has been taken and kept in regional hospital for more investigation.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows next after the break. We'll be right back. In international news tonight, opposition presidential candidate Martin Fayulu has said that he will continue with his campaigns in different parts of the DRC after being stopped by the government from running his campaigns in the east. Earlier, over 6,000 computers went up in the flames after the warehouse of the Electoral Commission office in Kinshasa caught on fire. However, the Commission has insisted that elections will take place as planned on December 23rd despite the fire.
Tunaendelea na kampeni, maana yake tuko na ruhusa, iko ni wakati wa kampeni inaisha, itakuwa
we shall not
karibu
be
na machaguzi,
scared.
maana yake
It is not
masiku ya
true
mwezi wa
that we are causing disruption. They are claiming so because they are scared. We started in Beni and we were well received.
The parliamentary committee that was formed to investigate allegations of sexual misconduct at universities in Uganda shocked after students explained that the main culprits are members of parliament as well as wealthy individuals within the government of Uganda.
Most of them, you find them like in places.
Most of them, you'll find them in cafeteria looking for girls and boys. So in trying to intervene, you must remember that these people are within you.
Evening lectures usually end at 10 p.m.
Usually, evening lectures end up at 10 p.m. And by that time, you find these luxurious cars parked outside student hostels. And these people are politicians and lecturers. We know who they are.
Now, President Paul Kagame of Rwanda has accused some African countries of participating in acts to sabotage the safety of his country and killed Rwandans who visit some of their countries.
You cannot claim that we are working together, yet Rwandese crossing borders are mistreated simply because they are from Rwanda. I'm surprised that those doing so are the very people who are responsible for making sure that our zone is safe. What is most heartbreaking is the people who are putting the lives of Rwandese in jeopardy are our very neighbors. How can we do business together when Rwandese are mistreated?
Now, 1 year after the general elections in Kenya that witnessed a strong competition between Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga, President Kenyatta has finally conducted a visit in Kisumu, which is Raila Odinga's estate. The president began his two-day visit by witnessing the launch of various development projects.
Tumesema hatutaki tena kuona Wakenya wakimwaga damu kwa sababu ya siasa.
We will not want to see Kenyans shed blood because of politics. And we've decided that we shall no longer stand by and let divisive politics rule. We shall go back to the beginning when Kenya got independence and Kenyans were a one people. This interchange that we are constructing will connect the people of Kisumu to Kisii and Kericho and Migori all the way to Tanzania. Those doing corruption will not be allowed to walk the streets of our country. Let no one make this a tribal issue. A thief is a thief, whether you are a Kikuyu, Mkamba or Jaluo. You will go to jail.
Na tumekuja hapa kuzindia mradi.
We're here to launch this project, and after a bitter campaign, we sat together and decided to bring back Kenya to where it was in 1961.
na ndugu yangu Uhuru Kenyatta tukakubaliana kwamba turudisha Kenya pale ambayo ilikuwa 1961.
And that is the end of International News. Business News follows next.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector. Tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. The price of fertilizers in Rukwa region this year has risen by more than 10,000 per one sack. Despite receiving a large shipment of fertilizers, it has contributed in large part to drop the sales of the input. Some farmers in the region have said that the rise in the price of a DAP fertilizer from 56,000 last season to 86,000 this year has contributed to their inability to cope with them, especially considering the drop in maize prices.
This year the price is high. As a result, people are not buying. A sack of maize sells for 20,000, yet we buy fertilizer at 68,000 to 59,000 shillings, depending on brand. This is why a lot of farmers have not bought fertilizer this year. They are opting to farm crops that do not require fertilizer, such as sunflower and beans. There is enough fertilizer. The problem here is that we have no customers. We do not see any luck this year.
The Deputy Minister of Minerals, Stanislaus Nyongo, has said that cement-producing factory Dangote in Mtwara region has been hit by a decrease in production of cement from 3 million tons per year since it was started in 2016 to only 25% of the amount currently produced, with the government promising to help the factory produce the required amount.
One of the challenges we faced was a lack of coal, because they had an alternative to either use coal or electricity, but they preferred coal because it is cheaper. Honorable President came for a visit and gave them land from where they could extract coal. So today I asked them why they were not extracting coal, and they gave their reasons that there is a company by the name of Tanko whom they were supposed to work in partnership. But Tanko has not yet supplied them with coal. I have asked them to write me an official letter so we can see how we can resolve this matter, so that they can now use locally sourced coal so Tanzanians can have access to affordable cement. Availability of reliable electricity is still a challenge. We sent a letter to the Commission expressing wish to cancel the licenses, but we have had no response.
Economic researchers have said that the presence of mobile services, especially in villages, has changed the lives of many women who have been using their phones to seek out markets for their goods and conducting financial transactions on their phones. The researchers are from the USA as well as those in the country have discovered that 70% of women have had their economic activities improved after using phones to simplify them.
And our focus here is access for mobile financial services for women, to look at the extent to which these new technologies, the availability of mobile phones and the associated digital financial services has an impact on, whether it has had an impact on women, particularly from poor households, whether it has had an impact in terms of their usage, but also the impact on their welfare and incomes. We think that it's important to consider women, in particular the poor women, because we believe that when you empower women, you also empower families, and when you empower families, you also empower communities.
Matokeo yake makubwa sana ambayo tulijifunza ni kwamba wanawake wengi waliweza kuzitumia.
What we discovered is that a lot of women used the mobile phones to increase their income. The mobile phone has made it easier to access markets. One can be at home and know what is going on in the market or what product she can order without having to leave home.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next.
My name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip, the hip, hip, hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette
with Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
In sports news tonight, the Zone 5 Championship semi-finals between Serengeti Boys and Zambia is expected to take place tomorrow afternoon after being postponed today to make way for the women's semi-finals, with players being given seminars on how to avoid game fixing.
It was about the safety of athletes, volunteers, coaches, and everybody who is involved in sport during the games. So we try to run this program to be able to educate them on their safety and also on what they should and should not do while they are here in camp. Yes, they can make friends and friendship and whatever, but they need to know the do's and don'ts and what can affect them later in their development of sport.
Over 300 athletes from various regions of the country have gone to participate in the Ngorongoro National Open Championships that is expected to take place in Arusha.
Umuhimu wa mashindano haya.
About 300 athletes from various regions of the country have gone to participate in the Ngorongoro National Open Championship that is expected to take place in Arusha.
Football Association Chief Executive Martin Glenn will step down at the end of the 2018-2019 season after 4 years in the role. Here's more on the story.
The FA said he was leaving, having delivered much of what he came to do. In a statement, the FA credited him with creating the culture around St. George's Park and the England teams, which has led to an unprecedented period of success. Glenn said it had been a huge honor and a privilege to lead the FA.
And Jose Mourinho criticized Manchester United starting players after their limp Champions League loss to Valencia, saying he did not learn anything. Here's more on the story.
The 2-1 defeat saw United miss a chance to top Group H, but Mourinho said it was still a success to finish second. United had already secured a last 16th place and made 8 changes to their lineup in Valencia. United, who play Liverpool in the Premier League on Sunday, recalled midfielders Paul Pogba, Fred Marouane, Fellaini and Andres Pereira, plus defenders Antonio Valencia, Eric Bailly and Marcos Rojo, and goalkeeper Sergio Romero.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.